ruins of an ancient alien extraterrestrial laboratory discovered in China, according to claims. A few decades ago, Chinese researchers encountered an unusual ancient structure that quickly gained traction in news outlets but ended up taking an unimaginable proportion in UFO circles as a case of an ancient extraterrestrial laboratory that for unknown reasons was abandoned by its builders, possibly because the purpose of its existence. The findings are known as Beigong pipes. Beigong pipes, but also Delinga pipes. It's a series of characteristic formations found near White Mountain, about 40 kilometers southwest of Delinga city, somewhere between Haichi, Mongolia, and Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture, Qinghai Province, China. Some of the Beigong pipes are said to be associated with 3 caves that appear on the front face of White Mountain. The entrances to the 2 smaller caves have collapsed. Only from the largest cave, which is 6 meters high, that's about 18 feet high, one can enter this. They're said to have been first discovered by a team of scientists from the United States looking for dinosaur fossils in the remote desert that forms most of the junction between China's Qinghai province and Tibet. But according to the online edition of Encyclopedia Britannica, quote, the pipes were found in 1996 by Yu, a Chinese author, or in some accounts an archaeologist, when he was exploring a remote part of the Qaidam Basin. On a slope of Mount Beigong, he spotted a carved triangular cave overlooking a saltwater lake called Tosan. Thinking the cave was human-made, he stepped inside, and there he saw a series of metal pipes rising from the floor and embedded in the walls. He noticed more pipes protruding from the surface of the hill, as well as along the shores of the lake. When he sent samples of the pipe material to the government lab for testing, the lab reported that 92% of the material consisted of common minerals such as iron oxide, silicon dioxide, and calcium oxide, but the remaining 8% was of unknown composition. These are strange branching of metal pipes from a few centimeters in diameter to the size of a toothpick. According to the thermoluminescent method, their age exceeds the existence of humans in the area. Some estimate it to be around 150,000 years old. According to some historians, there are no traces of human habitation until about 30,000 years ago. Even if they existed, they would have been nomads, making it unlikely that they have the knowledge and technology, such delicate tools and time to devote to constructing a complex plumbing installation. But if humans did not make it, then the question arises, who was there to build and pass this huge network of metal pipes whose alloy includes unknown materials? Many theories were put forward. At least one indicated that there are not even pipes. Again, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, quote, the theory that scientists most likely found, according to a 2003 article in Xinmin Weekly, was that the pipes are fossilized casts of tree roots. They are therefore identified as fossilized tree roots. The mystery was solved, and now the local government is promoting these features as a tourist attraction to which visitors are guided by road signs and tour guides. Some of them see that there is a structure at the top of White Mountain that has a vague resemblance to a pyramid, but it's most likely an optical illusion, as there does not seem to be any confirmation. With our imagination as vehicle, things have a completely different dimension and completely unreal and overturn all of the above. If we believe people who claim to have consented to visit alien spaceships, talk to the friendly beings aboard these spaceships, and be given tours of their craft, these UFOs, so they get an idea of some things, then the facts change. Ludwig Pohlmann, a German businessman, claimed that in 1964 he made friendly contact with a race of aliens from ATB Ra-2 and with their consent entered their spaceship. He claimed, among other things, that the vessel or parts of it consisted of a biological cellular structure. He did not hesitate to say that through the floor he could see what looked like 1 billion nerves and blood vessels. On September 20th, 1977, the so-called Petrozadovsk phenomenon occurred. These are sightings of unidentified objects that have appeared from Copenhagen to Petrozadovsk in the former USSR, from where it got its name. It had dozens of witnesses in each region and caused a great disturbance to the government, the officials of Northern Europe countries, and of course the Soviet Union. This main feature was a large glowing body that emitted rain jets or jets of light that fell to the earth, as if hanging tentacles, which is why it was called Medusa jellyfish. The phenomenon is sometimes attributed to the launch of the Soviet Cosmos 955 satellite. For our case, what is of value is that the light rays fell on the earth and appeared to sink into the soil, or actually did sink in the soil. With a little more imagination, if we connect the two previous incidents, we could estimate that about 150,000 years ago, at least one extraterrestrial living biological mother spacecraft landed near the lakes of China on the White Mountain. A sequence of light beams began to rain down, connecting the starship to the ground. If there were people in the area, the friendly beings would explain to them that these tentacles of light were something like roots. Because the vessel was an artificial but living organism, this process helped it to be supplied with vital elements from the earth. At the same time, it was also functioned as a laboratory for analyzing the soil and its chemical composition in order to see if the conditions were suitable for these beings to grow their own plants, vegetables, and fruits that they brought from their planet, so that at some point they could plant them and settle on Earth. So let the vessel's root penetrate everywhere in the ground all around to feed, but also to study the composition of the soil. Inside this cave, the ship itself, or the beings on board, and the scientific craft created a huge ancient alien laboratory, a small-scale lake water treatment with a reservoir and a dam that regulated the flow of water, perhaps to convert it into kinetic energy. Hundreds of tubes on the inner walls of the cave and also inside the stones were developed as living organisms in order to carry out other operations of chemical or other types. Of course, inside the cave, they built stairs leading to high observation posts. Pillar-like supports to keep the cave from collapsing, and other things necessary for them to do their job. They also worked out the entrance of the cave to be triangular in shape because it was probably related to the pyramid on the top of the mountain, which was carved by smaller flying spacecraft. The ancient alien laboratory is now up and running with only natural resources. When the whole process is over, the roots, quote-unquote, were cut off and left submerged in the earth. The cave, the rocks, the surrounding surface, as well as the bottom of the lake, it's obvious that the land was not exploited. Thousands of years passed and the alien living structures became fossilized, while some rooms and entrances in the cave collapsed due to natural causes. The ancient alien laboratory was almost destroyed, but almost. All that was left were the metal pipes. Imagination, you see, can combine a lot of information and come up with some pretty good hypotheses, perspectives, and possibilities. One of them could be that once upon a time, perhaps a few 100,000 years ago, there was a fairly advanced civilization of people who performed miracles with the knowledge they had, but then for unknown reasons disappeared, leaving behind strange traces. If we stretch our imagination further, then we have aliens who can do everything, like an ancient alien laboratory perhaps, for reasons incomprehensible to us. If we reduce our imagination almost entirely, then we have a pareidolia instead of a pyramid at the top, and the natural geological phenomenon with fossilized roots of some unknown species of tree instead of metal pipes from some ancient alien laboratory. This was written in the spirit of creative thinking and imagination, based on references combined from Britannica and Wikipedia concerning the China Bangong pipes. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. And this I've translated for you from a Greek article. Thank you. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.